Ever find yourself in a situation where you want to speak English, but the words just get stuck? Or maybe you understand everything, but when it's your turn to talk, your mind goes completely blank?
Oh, Lily, that's such a common feeling. I hear it from so many learners. It's like you've got all these words in your head, but they just won't come out naturally.
Exactly. And that's exactly why we're here today. Welcome back to Thesaurus Thrive, your go-to channel for building real English fluency. I'm Lily.
And I'm Ava. And in today's episode, we're diving deep into some everyday, real-life conversations. We're going to help you practice English speaking with us so you can sound more natural and confident.
We've got a fantastic plan for you. We'll explore 3 super common conversation types. First, talking about your daily routine. Second, how to make small talk and ask about someone's day. And third, making plans and inviting people out. These are situations you encounter almost every single day, right?
Absolutely. And the best part? We're going to break down useful phrases, give you simple explanations, and, most importantly, give you chances to practice speaking aloud with us. Remember, the key to fluency is speaking, even if it feels a little strange at first.
So, grab a pen if you like, but really, just relax, listen, and get ready to repeat. Let's make these real-life conversations easy and natural for you. Are you ready, Ava?
I'm more than ready, Lily. Let's jump right into our first conversation topic, talking about your daily routine.
Okay, so talking about your daily routine. This is probably one of the first things you'll talk about when you meet someone new, or when catching up with a friend. It's simple, it's safe, and it tells people a lot about you.
It really is, and it's a great way to start because we all have a daily routine, right? Even if it's not super strict, there are things we usually do every day. Let's start with the morning because that's where everyone's day begins.
Absolutely. So, let's talk about morning routines. The first thing you usually do is wake up. We often say, I wake up at 7 a.m. Simple, right? But then sometimes people use get up. What's the difference, Ava?
That's a great point, Lily. Wake up means your eyes open, you're no longer sleeping. Get up means you physically leave your bed. So you can wake up at 6:30 but not get up until 7 because you're scrolling on your phone, It's that little lazy moment.
Ah, yes, the famous 5 more minutes moment. So after you get up, what's next for most people?
Well, usually you brush your teeth and wash your face. Very common actions. Then, for many, it's time for breakfast. You can say, I have breakfast, or I eat breakfast. And if you're like me, you also make coffee or make tea.
Definitely. Make coffee is essential for me. So let's practice some of these phrases. Listen and repeat after us. Try to say them out loud just like you're talking to a friend.
Here's the first one. I wake up early. Your turn.
Okay, next. I usually get up around 7 a.m.
Great. How about this? I brush my teeth and wash my face.
And for breakfast, I have breakfast at home.
One more. I make coffee every morning.
Excellent. Now, after all that, it's usually time to leave the house, right? You might get dressed or get ready, and then you go to work or go to school.
Right. And how you get there? You can drive to work, take the bus, take the train, or maybe walk to school. This is called your commute. My commute is usually by train. It takes about 30 minutes.
That's a good one, Ava. Commute. It's a very common word. Once you're at work or school, you start work or start classes. During the day, you might have meetings, study, work on projects, or attend lectures. And, very importantly, you take a break or have lunch.
Yes, lunch break is crucial. You can say, I eat lunch with my colleagues, or I have lunch by myself. And if you're busy, you might say, I usually work through lunch. That means you don't really stop working while you eat.
Let's practice some sentences for the middle of the day. Repeat after us.
I take the bus to work.
I start work at 9 a.m.
I have a meeting in the afternoon.
I usually have lunch around 1 p.m.
Excellent. Now let's talk about the evening. This is when you finish work or finish classes. Then you go home. What do people usually do once they're home, Lily?
Well, after getting home, many people like to relax, right? Maybe cook dinner or make dinner. Some people order takeout if they don't feel like cooking. After dinner, common activities include watching TV, reading a book, exercising, or spending time with family.
And before bed, you might take a shower or take a bath. And finally, you go to bed. It's important to differentiate go to bed from sleep. You go to bed and then you sleep.
Good point. Let's practice some evening phrases. Repeat after us.
I finish work at 5 p.m.
I go home after work.
I usually cook dinner.
In the evening, I watch TV.
I go to bed around 10 p.m.
Fantastic. Now let's put it all together in a mini conversation. Ava and I will talk about our daily routines. Listen for the phrases we just learned.
So, Lily, what's your typical daily routine like?
Well, I usually wake up around 6:30 a.m., but I don't get up until 7. I need those extra minutes, you know? Then I brush my teeth and wash my face, and I always make coffee. I can't start my day without it.
I totally get that. Do you have breakfast at home?
Yes, I usually have a quick breakfast, maybe some toast or yogurt. Then I get ready and drive to work. My commute is about 20 minutes. I start work at 9 a.m.
And what about your workday? Do you have many meetings?
It varies, but usually a couple. I have lunch around 12:30 p.m. I try to take a real break, not just eat at my desk. I finish work around 5:30.
And your evening?
After I go home, I usually cook dinner. Then my husband and I might watch some TV or read. I usually take a shower before bed, and I try to go to bed by 10:30 p.m. What about you, Ava? Is your routine very different?
Mine is quite similar. I also wake up early, around 6 a.m., but I get up immediately. No scrolling for me in the morning. I brush my teeth, have a quick breakfast, and then I like to go for a run before starting work. So I usually go for a run, then shower, and then I'm ready to start work around 8:30.
Wow, a run. That's impressive. What about lunch?
I usually have a lighter lunch around 1 p.m., often with my team. My workday sometimes goes a bit later, maybe until 6 or 6:30 p.m. In the evenings, I really enjoy reading a book or maybe doing some yoga. I try to be in bed by 10 p.m. So, fairly similar, just different morning habits.
That's a great example of how you can talk about your day, sharing what's unique and what's similar with others. Remember, you can also add adverbs like always, often, sometimes, rarely, or never to describe how frequently you do something. For instance, I always make coffee, or I sometimes read before bed.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to make your answers more detailed. Instead of just I have breakfast, you can say, I usually have a light breakfast with fruit and coffee. It sounds much more natural. Okay, let's move on to our second conversation topic, making small talk and asking about someone's day. This is super important for connecting with people.
Small talk can sometimes feel tricky, especially in a new language. But it's really just light, friendly conversation to build rapport. It's not about deep topics, but more about showing interest and being polite.
Yes, it's like warming up for a deeper conversation. A very common way to start is simply asking, how are you doing? Or how's it going? These are very informal and friendly. You can also use how have you been if you haven't seen the person in a while.
Right, and then once you've done that, a really natural follow-up is to ask about their day. You can say, how was your day? Or how was your day today? Or a slightly different way, what have you been up to? This is good if you're catching up and want to know generally what they've been doing.
Let's practice these opening phrases. Repeat after us. Try to use a friendly, curious tone.
How are you doing?
How's it going?
How was your day?
What have you been up to?
Now, let's talk about responding. When someone asks you how was your day, you have many options that go beyond just good or fine.
Exactly. You can say, it was good, thanks, or it was pretty good. If it was okay, not amazing, you can say, it was all right, or it was okay. If it was busy, you might say, it was a bit busy, but productive.
And if it was a bit challenging, you can be honest but still positive. It was a bit challenging, but I got a lot done. Or, it was a long day, but I'm glad it's over.
Remember to always ask back. It shows you care. So after you say it was good, you can add, how about yours? Or what about you? Or and you.
Let's practice some responses. Repeat these naturally.
It was pretty good, thanks. How was yours?
It was a bit busy, but I got a lot done. And you?
It was okay, nothing special really. What about you?
Now, after the initial exchange, how do we keep the small talk going? This is where showing interest comes in. If someone says, my day was really busy, you can say, oh, really? What kept you so busy?
Yes, oh really is a great short phrase to show interest. Or if they say, I had a fantastic day, I went to the beach, you can respond with, that sounds lovely. Or, wow, I'm jealous. You can also use tell me about it if you want them to elaborate.
Another good one is anything interesting happen? This opens the door for them to share a little more. Or did anything exciting happen today? This helps keep the conversation positive and engaging.
Let's practice showing interest. Repeat after us.
Oh, really? What kept you so busy?
That sounds lovely.
Anything interesting happened today?
Great job. Now let's hear a short small talk conversation between Lily and me. Listen for those phrases.
Hey, Ava, how are you doing today?
Hi, Lily. I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How about you? How was your day?
It was a bit busy, but productive, you know. Lots of emails to catch up on. Anything interesting happen on your side?
Oh, really? I can imagine. My day was actually pretty relaxing. I managed to finish my tasks early, so I went for a nice walk in the park during my lunch break.
That sounds lovely. I'm jealous. I need to do that sometime. Which park did you go to?
Just the one near my office. It has a beautiful little pond. It was a perfect way to clear my head. Anyway, are you ready for the weekend?
Definitely. That was a great example of how to keep the conversation flowing naturally. Remember to listen carefully to what the other person says so you can respond appropriately and ask relevant follow-up questions.
Yes, listening is key. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Engage with what they're saying. And try to ask open-ended questions. Questions that need more than a yes or no answer. Okay, moving on to our third and final topic for today, making plans and inviting people out.
This is a really practical one. Whether you want to grab coffee, go to a movie, or just hang out, knowing how to invite someone and discuss plans is super useful. Let's start with inviting someone.
A very common way to invite someone is to simply ask, do you want to grab coffee sometime? Or, do you want to get lunch this week? The word grab makes it sound very casual and friendly. You can also say, how about going to see a movie?
Another great phrase is, are you free on day? Or, are you busy this weekend? This helps you find out their availability before suggesting a specific activity. For example, are you free on Friday evening?
And if you want to be a bit more direct and suggest something specific, you can say, would you like to join me for dinner on Saturday? Or, I'm going to the park later. Would you like to come along?
Let's practice these invitation phrases. Try to sound genuinely inviting.
Do you want to grab coffee sometime?
How about going to see a movie tonight?
Are you free on Saturday afternoon?
Would you like to join me for dinner?
Excellent. Now let's talk about responding. This is where you either accept or decline an invitation. To accept, you can say, that sounds great, or I'd love to, or yes, I'm free. Simple and enthusiastic.
If you need more information, you can say, that sounds good. What time were you thinking? Or sure, where should we meet? Always good to get the details clarified.
Now, what if you're busy? It's totally fine to decline, but it's polite to explain why and maybe suggest an alternative. You can say, I'm sorry, I'm busy that day, or unfortunately, I already have plans. It's nice to add maybe another time, or how about next week?
Yes, suggesting an alternative is very polite and keeps the possibility open. You don't want to just say no and end the conversation abruptly. Let's practice accepting and declining.
That sounds great. What time works for you?
I'd love to. Where should we meet?
I'm sorry, I'm busy on Saturday. Maybe another time?
Unfortunately, I already have plans. How about next Friday instead?
Fantastic. See, it's all about being clear and polite. Now, let's hear a mini conversation about making plans.
Hey, Ava, what are you doing this weekend?
Hi, Lily. Not much, just planning to relax. Why do you ask?
Well, I was thinking of going to that new art exhibition downtown on Saturday afternoon. Would you like to come along?
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'd love to. What time were you thinking?
How about 2 p.m.? We could meet outside the gallery.
2 p.m. on Saturday? That works perfectly for me. Should we grab a coffee beforehand?
Great idea. Let's meet at the coffee shop just next door at 1:30 p.m. then.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Me too. That was a really smooth conversation, showcasing how to initiate, accept, and even add a little extra to the plan. Remember, practice makes perfect.
It truly does. And speaking of practice, before we wrap up, we want to share a few practical tips to help you keep improving your English fluency.
My first tip is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Seriously, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The important thing is to speak. Think of mistakes as learning opportunities, not failures. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become and the fewer mistakes you'll make over time.
That's so true, Lily. My second tip is to practice consistently, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes a day. You don't need to block out hours. Try describing your daily routine to yourself in English while you're making breakfast. Or when you're walking, narrate what you see. Every little bit adds up and builds muscle memory for your English brain.
Consistency is key. And my third tip is to actively listen. When you're watching movies, listening to podcasts like ours, or talking to someone, really pay attention to how native speakers phrase things. Notice their intonation, their common expressions. Try to mimic them. This isn't about copying, it's about internalizing natural patterns.
Great advice, Lily. And I'll add one more. Find a speaking partner. It could be a friend, a language exchange partner online, or even joining a local English-speaking club. Having someone to actually converse with, even just for these simple real-life scenarios, makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. It brings everything we learn to life. So today we covered talking about your daily routine, making small talk, and making plans. We gave you lots of phrases, explanations, and practice opportunities. Remember, these are building blocks for your fluency journey.
Keep practicing these conversations every day. Try to use them in your real life, even if it's just practicing in front of a mirror. The more you do it, the more natural it will become.
We really hope this episode helps you feel more confident and ready to speak English in real-life situations. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please give us a like, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and subscribe to Thesaurus Thrive for more practical English lessons.
And remember, your fluency journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate every little improvement. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. We truly appreciate you being a part of the Thesaurus Thrive community.
That's all for this episode. Keep speaking, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
See you next time. Keep thriving.